Our next student storyteller also has some amazing achievements, Chelsey J. Chelsey is a senior majoring in environmental sciences and resource management. She has spent 3 years engaging with the pipeline project through the Environmental Alternative Spring Break program, and I'll let her tell you more about where that is. When you talk to Chelsey, her passion for teaching is just so clear and so evident, and her commitment and connection to the community that she has worked within for Alternative Spring Break is really made tangible by her actions. Please join me in welcoming Chelsey to share her story.
Thank you, Rachel. Coming from Hawaii, I found it hard to find my place at UW, where I had nearly 40,000 classmates. I felt overwhelmed and lost, not really knowing my purpose for being at school, and the constant uncertainty haunted my thoughts. As a Hawaiian, it has been very difficult to stay in touch with my culture here in Seattle, and I was longing to connect with a smaller community within the larger UW community. And it wasn't until my junior year that I was able to make that connection and find my purpose for being in school. In 2010, I discovered the Pipeline Project's Environmental Alternative Spring Break program. Through this program, I was able to develop an environmental science-based curriculum with 4 other UW students during winter quarter and facilitate our curriculum during spring break for the 1st through 8th grade students of the Koyu Tribal School in Lapush, Washington. Not only did this program allow me to be a part of the indigenous community in Washington, which reminded me of my community back at home, but it also helped me discover my passion for environmental education. As I entered the Koyu Tribal School doors for my 3rd and final year this past spring break, I was feeling anxious and hoping that my curriculum was complete, as I was the first of our group members to teach a lesson. Our first class for that day was with the 7th through 8th graders, and I led them in an experiment to explore the role of cellular respiration and its importance to plant growth. In order to demonstrate this process, I had the students pour spoonfuls of yeast and sugar into an empty soda bottle, and then fill it up halfway with warm water. Once they had done that, they quickly covered the top with a balloon and shook the bottle to speed up the reaction. The students were anxiously waiting for the balloon to fill up with carbon dioxide gas, predicting that it would explode, but nothing happened, and there was total silence in the room. My worst nightmare had come true, and my knees trembled with fear because our experiment wasn't working the way I thought it would, and I was freaking out. I softly told the students that not all experiments work the way you want them to, but you can still learn from it. So we placed the bottles on the side and continued on with our next activity, planting runner beans in different media. Towards the end of the class period, I was shocked to see that the balloons were magically inflated. 2 students were especially excited about this and took the soda bottles and lifted it above their heads in triumph, posing with them, while their teacher took pictures. I smiled at their enthusiasm, and at that moment, I knew that environmental education was where my path at UW had led me. Not only did we get to know the students inside the classroom, but we also got to interact with them outside of school, letting us see them in a different light. Entering the Koyu Community Center for Drum Circle, we got a whiff of all the delicious food that was being prepared for that night. The students introduced us to their families and whispered intimate stories about their lives as we ate the food that was so graciously offered to us. After our stomachs were full, we sat down on the chairs that formed the circle and listened to the numerous community members play their drums and dance to traditional songs. The students wouldn't allow us to just sit there and marvel at them. They pulled us into the circle and taught us what their families had taught them. This continued on for 5 hours, and chicken skin covered my body as I danced to those beautiful songs. Oh, I should probably tell you that chicken skin is what Hawaii people refer to as goosebumps. I admire the Koyu community's passion for each other and their culture, which reminded me of the passion I have for my own culture. Interacting with the Koyu Tribal School students and being a part of the Koyu community, even if only for a week at a time, not only allowed me to satisfy this need I had to make meaningful connections with a community rooted in their culture, but it also gave me a new outlook on conservation as an academic field. I realized that I could fulfill my long-time dream of giving back to my own community by protecting the natural and cultural resources of Hawaii through environmental education. I hope that one day I will be able to inspire my fellow Native Hawaiians to become active stewards of the land and teach what they know to future generations. Thank you.